So today we're going to test the video resolution settings of the camera. First up we have 1080p, 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second indoors. Then I took a shot with the same setting through a window to get an outdoor shot. Reasonably clear. Now we've got the 60 frames per second option down to 30 frames per second, giving you that slight slow effect. Again, even through a dirty window, it's quite a clear image. Back indoors again for the 60 frames per second 1920 by 1080. It's a little bit dark. When exposing to a brighter light, it tends to get really dark around the edges. Next up we have the supposed 4K, which is actually 3600 by 2025 at 30 frames per second, scaled down to 1080p. And here we have an outdoor shot using the same settings. From what I've read, this is not true 4K. Next up we have 2K, 30 frames per second. Again, scaled down to 1080p to fit the video I was creating. Reasonably good indoors, a little bit of stuff missing in the darks. And we go outside with the same settings. Reasonably bright. Even with a dirty window, it's pretty clear. Now we've got the 720p with the 120 frames per second. This one I've set down to 30 frames per second so you can see the real slow motion effect. Let's upscale that to fit the 1080p screen so we can see what it looks like enlarged slightly. Might be a little bit more grainy now that I've enlarged it. But again, this is going at 30 frames per second, so it's really slowed down to a quarter of the original speed. Really good for capturing those slow motion shots, running water, people falling, things dropping, throwing things, and other things that you might want to slow down and catch in the action. All in all, it's not a bad little camera for the price, but it does lose quite a bit of detail in the shadows and dark areas of the video. And if you're really wanting true 4K, the interpolated 4K that supposedly comes with this camera, from everything I've read and other reviews I've seen, it isn't anywhere near as good or as full size as true 4K. But the camera overall, for the price, is a reasonable camera. Just wasn't good enough quality for what I needed, and I was a bit upset that it didn't mention in the listing that it wasn't true 4K. They kind of hinted that it was, but for the price, you can't really expect that.